Hello, this is Rain Phoenix, and you're listening and watching LaunchLeft Podcast, a space where we talk to artists about what drives their passion and craft. Don't expect any deep dives into catalogs or facts about their work. It is more about how and why artists do what they do and how that impacts culture. Don't forget, rate and subscribe. Follow us on all socials at LaunchLeft. Our very special guest is Peaches, launching Isis Salam. Peaches, oh my God, it's an honor to meet you.
Oh, Rain, do you understand how obsessed I was with you from when even Cowgirl Gets the Blues was like, I love that so much. I saw it when in Toronto and I was like, oh my God, she's so cool. Rain is the coolest. I loved you in that.
Oh my God.
I was obsessed.
I love that story. I love that for us. Really, though, I'm speechless. And I think I am serious. I think about how difficult it must have been when you first started carving your way. It was such an individual carving, a lane.
You know what? That's a really good way of saying it. Really was a carving. It was really like pushing my way through, because it was like people were so confused on so many levels. Like, is this music? Is she kidding? She's so angry. She's so dumb and funny. She's so like every opposite. Is she like porno? Is she for real? This is so unsexy. You know what I mean? Like just staring at me with all these different opinions of me, just like, but not leaving the room. You know what I mean? And it was just, very, very confusing. I felt like a fighter. I really did.
Yeah. A warrior. Absolutely. Yeah. And the thing that I'm pretty obsessed with right now in general, but have always noted is probably a good way through to introducing innovative and difficult subjects is the pathway of joy. And your music and the choices you made to be in the fun of the teaches of Peaches, right? To be like educating, but from this place of joyful explosion. And I absolutely think like that has had such a staying power because, even though you were really like intense about some of the stuff you're saying, you did it from this fun place. Would you agree that, or am I?
I so agree. I was on the pathway of people that I really loved, and I loved their art. I loved what they said. I loved how the trajectory of intersectional feminism and uncharted territories of creativity. But I felt like it was always from an angry place. And so I thought, I really want to put humor in this because I feel like that'll be a way of disarming people and then bringing them back in. So in a way, it's like if people have their arms folded and you do something funny and they're laughing, their arms unfold and then they kind of laugh. And then they're like, oh, wait, all that I was holding, all that like pent upness I was holding and it's gone. And wait, they kind of relax into it, but then they're open to hearing and to feeling and to experiencing what's really going on. So that was
so true.
Yeah, that was my way, especially when I was like opening for other people, like I would open for like Queens of the Stone Age and literally all the dudes would be turned backwards. They would turn around backwards. And I would run off the stage and I'd run in front of them and I'd be like, in the microphone, I'd just be like, hey, the stage is that way. You're facing the wrong way. And then I'd run back on stage and they'd just be like, what? Like, does she not get it? Like, which kind of protesting, or they'd yell things at me, like, you suck. And I'd be like, not your dick, stuff like that. And then their friend would be like, she got you, she got you. You know,
Was it hard? Was it difficult to be you, to be a warrior in a time when it was in the music industry, you were an anomaly for sure.
yes, yes, it was very difficult. It was difficult. Um, it was difficult to be understood, which also helped me learn a lot and helped me to be a better performer and a better writer because I really understood that people really, it's sad, but people really, really don't have the capacity to just see something new and not and like take away all the things that they've been told, which is what I was doing for myself. And so it was so confusing for them. And then you just kind of see how how communities work or how societies work in that way. And I've seen so many changes, and it's funny, people will come to a show and it'll be their first show, and now they're like, oh, so into it, and relax about it because they know what they don't know. They're actually, which I still love, that I can surprise people. They're like, I knew, but I didn't know. You know what I mean? But before it'd be like, I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. I was like frozen there. But all those different opinions really were interesting to me because I was just on what I thought was a direct path, and people were on either side of this path on such like extreme ends. It was really interesting. And also when I first started out, I didn't have anybody. Like I really, I had a I think I had a booker first, but I would show up and I'm like a whole, production, but it's just me. And sometimes just backing tracks or just one machine and just me. Like, there's no protection. And I just, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. But so it's fun because last year I did an anniversary tour of the first album, and I felt like I was like, could finally breathe. I was like, I feel so at home and I feel so accepted. It didn't make me lazy, but I just felt like I can really connect with people right now. Although I have to say, of course, I connected with a lot of people, and a lot of people got a lot out of it and helped to change things by seeing my art or when they were on the path to their own new creative struggle, So
Yeah, I do believe that artists are really always on the front lines of cultural shift, and those that are courageous enough to be outside the pale of what's culturally accepted at the time are often the ones who are leading that charge. And you, to me, are definitely one of them. But aside from music, you have such a prolific creative energy. You've done so many things, in the world of art, and you again, approaching each of them, you're tireless, you're fearless, and you'll do it even if no one supports you. Like that kind of alone, where you're saying you did it all alone. That is a strong-willed individual. Did you come in like that? Like when you were a kid, were you already fully formed like that, or was that a learned?
No, I was a very spaced out kid. And I think I realize now that I was a very spaced out kid because didn't want to follow those, whatever was going on. But I wasn't like, no, I was more like, oh, what's going on? Ugh. I was a very, very frustrated person and, but child. But yeah, I had a lot of questions, and I wondered a lot why I would be like, what these standards were, what these roles were, like why this? Why am I singing a song that talks about having sex with underage women? Why would I be singing along with that? Why do I have to you know quiet myself down when someone else is president or a different, like I just didn't understand.
Well, somehow you found your people enough, the people that you resonated with, that then, helped to spark that strong-willed individual that just stayed in this, like you said, you had this through line that you knew you were on. That to me is always of interest, is when an artist who might not be accepted, so many people are looking for acceptance from their peers, right? Or from the outer acceptance. I'm always really interested in those artists that buck that norm and go, go, go. And you are one of them. And it's interesting to hear, as a child, you were it sounds like you were sponging, going like, okay, what is this world about? And then you found found your thing,
Yeah. I mean, also, I was also weirdly, like, I feel all kids are obsessed with kind of music, but I was like weirdly obsessed, like had to know every lyric to every song, went through every record of like my parents, my brother, my sister, like that's, I had to like or have a relationship with every album. And then I developed my own. And then I was like, these are my albums. These are, not what they would listen to and things like that. And I really didn't even understand that I could be a musician. I thought you had to have it learn, you do have to like put in the hours, but I didn't really understand that. And the process of like, creativity growing up was really limited. It was like you would go to music class and they would say, okay, Meryl, sing this note. And I would be like, and they'd be like, okay, let's ask somebody else to sing it. No, like, oh, you could get a better note if you like opened your throat a little, or right. No encouragement, no process involved, just like that or this, or it would become time for the school play, which I would be like, oh my God, the school play, yes. And they'd go, okay, you're a bat. And I'd be like, what? I'm a bat? But I didn't do it. Like, you just looked at me and said, I'm a bat. So, I mean, Rain, I also taught kids, like before I, like, cause I needed a job and I didn't know I was a musician and I worked in a daycare, and it was so horrendous to see how exhausted everybody was, the kids, the teachers. And I was learning acoustic guitar, and I would come in and make up stories, and the kids they would love it. They would listen, they would sit down, and you saw this like, and I wanted to continue this program with kids, not for the sake of like, now we're all going to dress up in pink tutus, girls, and all the boys are going to wear little, like armor outfits and invite your parents,
right.
Their parents were not invited. And every day they would act out these stories just for themselves. And it felt so good for me to like, let kids be creative and develop, because they want to right. Role play. They want to work this out, and they do it anyway. So to do it with a group and someone who can lead it really helped them a lot.
It's such a huge jump from that to your first record. I was like, whoa, no, that's a really amazing leap over a cliff into some new trajectory completely. I usually ask how music found you, but it sounds like you kind of explained that to me when you shared about like diving into the record collections of your family and then finding your own,
But I still didn't know I was a musician. It was more like, I was like, okay, I'm going to be a theater director, because, I would see like cool musicals on TV, like, they would show like Tommy or, which was pretty cool when you're a kid, like, Ken Russell, like weirdness, or like, Tina Turner doing the Acid Queen was like jumped out of the screen. It wasn't even like, it was like, it wasn't on a TV. You had this image that she was really there. So I was very drawn to theater. And then I went to theater school, and I would tell people, I want to make cool musicals. And they'd be like, we're doing Ibsen here. We're doing, they would just be like, that's not cool. And then I dropped out. I was like, I don't fit in here. And somehow my girlfriend played acoustic guitar and I did, and we wrote our own songs, and she got a gig opening for someone. So I said, hey, can I join you? And we played, and a lot of people showed up. So we had a weekly gig. And I was like, oh, I'm a musician now. And we're playing acoustic music. And then for a year, I played acoustic music. And then I was like, oh, I want to do more. And then I just started exploring. And I'm like, okay, now I can be a musician. I can be whoever I want in terms of like presentation. I could do my own lighting. I can write the music. I'm directing myself, and that so I understood that I could create my own universe without institutions. Yeah, then I understood I can really get my musical experiences out, but all my performance ideas out too, and go
Awesome.
beyond. Yeah.
Now we're about to bring Isis Salam on, which
Isis,
she's
yes.
so cool. But before we do that, I have a question about, because you're from Toronto and Canada, and often there are social services for musicians in terms of touring money or
Yeah.
finishing your record funds. Was that ever part of your musical experience there?
No,
Okay. Wow.
I no, it wasn't. Maybe I did a little grant for our first album, Mermaid Cafe, but not really. And then, I moved to Berlin like 23 years ago. And I can access some of those, but not all of those now. But it is an incredible, incredible thing. But Germany also has really good programs like that. But I think Canada is the best for that support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only learned about that from U.S. girls who shared about
Oh,
how
US
they,
girls. Yeah, we toured
yeah,
together.
Meg, she's so
Yeah.
lovely. And she spoke about touring funds. I was like, what is that? in in the
I know.
US there is zero help ever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your passion for art and music. I am again so honored to have made your acquaintance. I hope that we can meet in person
Oh,
soon.
you don't understand, Rain. Like I need to meet you.
Yes,
I
I would love that. If you're ever in Los Angeles, please let me know.
will. I will.
Okay.
Definitely.
I
Yeah.
and if I come to Berlin, I'm gonna
Yeah.
look
Come
you
to
up.
Berlin.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, we'll bring Isis Salam in the room now.
You look
Hi.
great. Yeah.
Hi, fuck me. So, I mean, yes, thank you.
You do look great. And both of you all, your music, so productive, so wonderful. First of all, I did a deep dive of both your records, many things you both do in music. I was super blown away. And I was like, of course, Peaches is going to launch Isis Salam because she's a badass. How did you two meet?
I remember
Ah.
do you remember? Because I remember.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell you how we
you
met.
tell it, yeah.
I was in Montreal, and I don't know what I was doing there. I don't even know if I had played a gig, but I was in some club. I don't even know why. And you were like, "Hey, you're Peaches, right? Do you remember this?"
Yeah.
You're like, "You smoke pot?"
I was like, this is my way in, you know?
I was looking. I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, I make music too." I'm like, "Oh yeah, cool." And then we just like hung out. But it was chill. It wasn't like, you know.
Yeah. It's funny. People, I guess, sometimes don't think I can be pretty chill. I'm actually, there's the which is, my ADHD, but there's also like,
Yeah.
I'm not always yelling at people.
You weren't yelling at me at all. We had a chill time. It was good.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because yeah, I always wondered like how I was trying to remember how we met. I knew it was in Montreal, but I wasn't sure if I had done the whole like on you or not. So I was always like, maybe don't bring it up, because
Yeah.
she's working out. So
It
let's
was
just
cute.
like chill.
And then we met again probably in Berlin, right?
In
When you
Berlin, yeah.
Yeah.
We did that show together too. I still have that picture. Yeah, it was the Vice party.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always better. I mean, if you don't remember, it was probably a fantastic time, right?
It was epic.
Yeah, but and then I heard Thunder Heist and I was hooked. So good.
Yeah, I remember actually reading like there was like this list, and this is kind of how like again my ADHD is like I'm always like here and there, but then I remember reading like some kind of top 5 list, and you put like Jerk It Down as one of your
It
favorite
is
songs.
always on my top list. I love
I
that
was
song.
like, and then when I heard that you were out in Berlin and I was going to come out here and eat, love, and pray, and then, I came, and then like, you're literally one of the reasons why I came here. And like, oh, well, after the whole like Vice tour and everything else, but like seeing how, like, just how much the city really does do something for artists and like just the niches and communities you can build. So yeah. Yeah, no, I'm again still beyond humbled by that. That like that's cool.
This is what I love to see is how artists influence each other. Talking about Peaches and how singular her path was in a time when there was no one like her out there.
Iconic.
Exactly.
Full stop.
Exactly.
like for real, like just what it is.
Icon status, absolutely. And
it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool because also Isis, you were in Toronto for a while, were you?
Yeah.
And it's like it's so funny because Toronto, it was really like folk rock for a long time. It was all folk rock. So like, I started the path, I left, you were there, you and also with Mastercraft and stuff you were doing with them, and then Crystal Castles and
like
so
literally once you left, I like you really need to understand, like you really like planted a seed and showed like because then there was this like because I was still very much in the hip hop scene, and then like when I became aware of all these other things going on in hip house and everything else, I realized that like I wanted to like kind of I didn't want to be confined to things, and then like looking to like what you were doing, I was like I could just fuck it, right? Like, and so that became a thing. And then, but then at a certain point, I was like, I wanted to, like, I guess I needed more fire. So I guess I just started following you and just came to where you are. I'm just going to keep following you. If you go to Mexico, I'm coming.
Oh, I'll go to Mexico. That sounds good.
Oh, yeah.
Me too. Let me know when you're there. I'll meet you guys there.
Nice. Yeah, we'll have a ladies' night in Mexico.
That sounds awesome. If you could have unlimited cash to create something, what would that something be?
I would be able to have the technology and the wherewithal and the space to 3D print my babies.
Whoa. That I did not see coming. I did not see that coming.
Not coming at all. No.
Bro, come on, man. Come on, man. Think about it. You got a draft folder? Think about it.
I was just thinking more. It's just the things,
Sorry.
I was gonna go more Mother Teresa style and be like, get the biggest, baddest warehouse and give everybody space to do stuff there, so that because it's getting so expensive.
Well, then we can do it together. We can combine our efforts, man. We can have a whole like birthing center connected to like our creative, because it's all a creative process, brah.
Exactly. There we go. And we could 3D print more buildings to make more.
Thank you. It's just it's just continuous creation.
There you go.
I agree that like the more support and funding that artists get to do what they're here to do, the better the world will be. Yeah,
there's a lot of barriers to entry. And that shouldn't be the case if you want to be able to express yourself and through any kind of medium. So yeah, I would like to see that change. However, I worry that like now with all the AI that things will be more accessible, but then like what ends up happening, or it's going to get flooded with people who want to create for the sense of creating, and then people who want to just create to see what happens. But then again, what's wrong with that? I don't know. It's a whole freaking philosophy. I don't know.
Something's going to happen, but maybe it's not all bad.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be all bad because we'll still be here. So it can't be all bad.
In terms of physical art collaborations, it's of the human kind. So to me, I think like doing more in-person community things is really a powerful way that we can still outshine AI. Exactly. We're good. That's a vote for humanity.
Guys, my bad. But no, just to your point, I think, it's something, if anything, I think this will be a moment that really will create almost more necessity for those spaces. You know,
Right.
there'll be more, I think, exchange between, artists and others, and even a little bit outside of this, like the artistic world, like, or the creative world.
Being courageous, like both of you have been as artists, and doing what drives a cultural kind of shift, because that's how we make a more exciting future, I think, as opposed to just status quoing through life.
Yeah, we have to remember too that we're talking about this like it's easy.
Yeah.
Because we're
Bruh.
talking about it. And there's been obviously, especially in America, in lots of parts of the world, that it's just getting harder and harder to be who you need to be, express yourself in the way you need to. So in some ways, it's so much more and so accepted, and then exponentially in the same way, it's growing in all directions. So it's definitely explosive times,
Yeah. I agree. And I also think, especially like to your point, like I think if anything, not only the necessity for connection in communities is growing or will be growing, but also I think art is one of those things that it allows you to navigate and explore spaces that normally you wouldn't be able to explore or be in if you weren't an artist. Like I've been in spaces that I would not normally be allowed to be in if it was not that they would book me to play. Like, you know what I mean? They want me entertaining, but God forbid I marry one of their kids.
Exactly.
So it's this is the hope that I have as an artist, not just as something that I do like for my livelihood, but as who I am. I think there's power in that. And it isn't easy. Like there's days where I'm like, what am I even doing this for? Like I'm extremely sensitive, and so like there's days where it's like, what is the purpose and point? If you're not doing it for money, you're doing it for actual real, to feel something inside of you and feel something inside of others, where there's power in what we do, and I want you to know you got to stick around because I'm going to need you. So we got this 5 more years to alien screw us all. So
that's right. So let's use those 5 years.
Yeah, I think you brought up a really strong point too, Peaches, just about the climate that we're in is not supportive of change. If anything, we're going back in time. Yeah. It's like and so now more than ever, artists like yourselves are needed, and the next generation of artists like yourselves are needed. And so much gratitude to both of you for carving the way and being a huge part of moving us forward, even while it feels retroactive policies are going on.
Both retroactive and completely transformative. So it's confusing.
Surreal. Yeah, it's like, and that's what I'm like. That's what I mean. It's like this weird. There's moments where you have to activate your cognitive dissonance, but then there's other moments where it's almost like surreal that things are so possible. Like I live in Berlin right now, right? Right? Remember that one time Hitler lost? And so that is a moment we can enjoy, but then there's still literal people right now trying to bring back these kinds of ideas, and so it's a weird space. It's a weird place to be. Yeah.
I'm absolutely inspired by and blown away by both of you. I feel so grateful I got to share some minutes with you on a late night in Berlin, on a midday in Los Angeles. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience before we sign off?
Oh, I'm just so excited for you, Isis. I'm really looking forward to what's about to happen for you.
Thank you.
You work really hard, and you have a lot of heart, and you put your all into it, and that doesn't go unnoticed. And you have a powerful voice, and thank you for using it.
Thank you. I'm not good with real compliments and stuff like that, so I'm a little like, it means a lot coming from you. So all I gotta say is be happy when you can. Love the people who love you, and take each day as it comes. And yeah, you know, like, yeah, that's all I can say. I'm really grateful. Like, super thank you for providing me the platform, and thank you, Peaches, for the love and support. Yeah, it's still all surreal to me. I've been doing this so long, but it's always still kind of, you know, like, wow, people like my stuff kind of thing, you know? So I thank you. That's all I can say. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Rain, for putting this all together. And thank you for me being obsessed with you since mid-90s.
I really do love this for us, and I cannot wait to meet you in person. Give you a big bear hug about it.
You were so casual and cool in that movie. I was obsessed, really obsessed.
Oh my God, I love it.
And the
I love all this love. This is good. My name is Isis, and this is my track called Freed the Hard Way.
Can anyone live with her as a kid?
That's not for me to decide. That's for someone who decides to live with me to decide. Not for me.
I got many mans, many hands, many times. Look at me like I got the fucking answer. Many nights, spending flight, spending life. We in Vegas, I'ma be your private dancer. Many mans, many hands, many times. No offense, I ain't got the fucking answer. Many nights, spending flight, spending life. We in Vegas, I'ma be your private dancer. They say cats can't handle you, it's understandable. I'll fuck your shit up, dog. Cats call me Hannibal Lecter, microphone checker. Check your mind state, I'm moving checkmate. Y'all just playing checkers, ain't dressed for the weather. It's cold outside, you got holes in your sweater. No hoes that know better, no hoes that spit better. Hoes suck for the cheddar, your girl's a good hoe. Stuck on dope, go get her. Many mans, many hands, many times. Look at me like I got the fucking answer. Many nights, spending flight, spending life. We in Vegas, I'ma be your private dancer. Many mans, many hands, many times. No offense, I ain't got the fucking answer. Many nights, spending flight, spending life. We in Vegas, I'ma be your private dancer.
Strangers in the night, with secrets behind your eyes. You see the fire, desire. You can let it go. You can let it go. How you gonna hide?
I got 2 bad bitches on a motherfucking sponsor. If you a hater, catching papers, don't bother. No need for hesitation. So happy it must be nature. I don't need another master. Why? Your intentions you can manage. My feelings I won't damage. Nah, 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 nah. 2 bad bitches. I got 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 many mans, many hands, many times. Look at me like I got the fucking answer. Many nights, spending flight, spending life. We in Vegas, I'ma be your private dancer. Many mans, many hands, many times. No offense, I ain't got the fucking answer. Many nights, spending flight, spending life. We in Vegas, I'ma be your private dancer. Many mans, many hands, many times. Look at me like I got the fucking answer. Many nights, spending flight, spending life. We in Vegas, I'ma be your private dancer. Many mans, many hands, many times. No offense, I ain't got the fucking answer. Many nights, spending flight, spending life. We in Vegas, I'ma be your private dancer. Boom, da boom, da boom.
LaunchLeft aims to create an intentional space that highlights and empowers all artists for whom radical creativity is not a choice, but a necessity. LaunchLeft begins with music, but its ultimate aim is to launch left-of-center artists in all creative fields.